Hello, hello. How is everybody? Welcome to this week's live Batch Cooking Club cooking class. I am Stephanie Dreyer, the founder of Batch Cooking Club and a plant-based meal planning expert. I am your host every week here, showcasing one of the recipes from our weekly membership plans where we make dinner easier by giving you 4 dinners and then 4 to 6 other recipes to prep on the weekend to speed up those 4 dinners during the week. And this week, one of those recipes is Tempeh Bolognese. And our members are making a batch of that this weekend to then incorporate into some vegan bolognese and stuffed bruschetta stuffed peppers, and then also our Italian stuffed calzone. So we always include one recipe that we double batch and use in completely different ways. So I'm excited to share this with you today. First, I want to give a shout out to all of our members. Thank you for being a part of our club. We value and appreciate you. And I also want to give a shout out to anybody who's watching live. Go ahead, if you're watching, drop in where you're tuning in from, and so we can say hi. I think we have a couple people on right now.
Yes, we do, Stephanie. We have Marcia from the state of Washington, Danielle,
who's also in Washington, I believe.
And Gail from California, Southern California.
All right, well, welcome. Thank you for joining live. If you're watching in replay, go ahead and do give me a hashtag replay. And if you have any questions as I'm going through this, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll try to get to them live.
Carrie says hi.
Hi, Kelly.
Karen from Riverside.
Oh, hi, Karen. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. If you have questions, go ahead, drop them in the comments, and we'll try to get to them live, but definitely I always go and check after. We'll also post the full link to the recipe after as well once the class is done. So we are gonna start with our beginning ingredients. You need some, I've got my tablespoon of olive oil sizzling. I'm gonna add in my onion, and we've got 1 onion chopped here, and I have about 3 cloves. Actually, I did 3 huge cloves of garlic because I love garlic. And you can also use vegetable broth if you're ditching the oil. In all of our recipes, we include options if you have a gluten allergy, a nut allergy, a soy allergy, or if you're avoiding oil. We always give you options for that. And we also always give you an ingredient substitution guide each week that gives you alternatives for every ingredient that's in every recipe. So we try to take the thinking out of it so that it's easy and versatile and can accommodate anybody's picky family or different dietary needs. So I'm gonna just let that start cooking right now, and then I'm gonna add my carrots and my celery and some herbs. And I chopped for this recipe, you can do your vegetables as big as you want, and you could also add in zucchini, would also be really great. Any other vegetables that your family likes. We are doing a fine dice in the way I designed the recipe because I like the bits of the vegetables to really get caramelized in the sauce. You could do a bigger chunk, but I wanted to share my secret for doing a fine dice. We've got 3 celery stalks and 3 carrots. And so you see I've already got it chopped here. What I do is I cut the carrot into like a more manageable piece, so it's not, because celery is pretty easy to do a fine dice, right? You can manipulate it pretty easy. But carrots can be a little bit tricky, and this is my favorite way to get a fine dice without having to sit there and like chop away. So I slice it in half, and then I turn it over, right? We want to be safe. And I slice it again into little, oh yes, thank you for coming close up there, into even more manageable little sticks, carrot sticks. And then you can just line them up and go and, oops, this one got away from me. And you can see it automatically, look, it's already in here, I'll chop it and then I'll show you so I don't chop off a finger. So I don't even have to chop it again. It's already in that small dice. So I don't know, that's just one of my favorite ways to cut a carrot. I don't know if everybody else does it that way. Maybe everyone does, but I thought I would share. And I'm gonna add that to the pot with the onion and the garlic. And I'm also going to add a tablespoon of basil and a tablespoon of oregano. Smells so good. You could also put thyme in there. Again, these recipes are meant to inspire you to make them your own. So I'm sure everyone grew up, I don't know, I'm Italian, so I grew up with an Italian grandmother, half Italian mom, and a full-blooded Italian grandmother who was like first generation here, and she had her favorite, the sauce that her mom made, right? So everyone has their things, but this is a good base, and then you can add in whatever your secret ingredient is. So if you can't stand basil, or you have a different way to make it with oregano, or we have oregano thyme or rosemary, go ahead and I want you to feel inspired to make these your own. We hope these are a jumping off point for you. But I must say, this recipe is quite delicious the way I've developed it for you, if I do say so myself. And we're just gonna let those cook. It's really about 10 minutes those are gonna cook, and I'm stirring it all in, and they're gonna get caramelized. It smells so good, and you can zero in on the pot here if you want. It smells like heaven. All right, we're gonna leave that there to cook. And I'm going to talk to you about tempeh. Do we have any questions?
No questions,
Okay.
but I can't memorize all of the names. So
Oh.
we have Erica and we have another Stephanie from Northern California. So
Well, hello everybody. I think that's Steffi Bosco, the superfood goddess. So if that's,
Yes.
I guess, a shout out to Steffi. She's one of our partners. So excited to see you here joining live. Erica, happy to see you as well. Again, if you're watching and haven't dropped in where you're from, please do so. We'd love to see where you're coming in from. And if you're watching in replay, please do the same and do a hashtag replay. Love to connect with all of you. So I'm going to talk about tempeh because this can be very intimidating. It's Veganuary. It's January. A lot of people are, and it's also the start of a new year, and so a lot of people are trying to eat healthier. They might be going plant-based who are watching or trying to go plant-based. I've been talking to so many people the last 2 weeks who want to go vegan or vegetarian and don't know where to begin. So this is a great recipe if you're transitioning or you're new to plant-based food, or you want to, or just want to incorporate meatless meals into your diet. This is a great recipe because it has the meatiness of a traditional bolognese sauce and all the same flavors. We're just kind of subbing tempeh for your typical beef. So this is an example of one that I just got at my local Trader Joe's, and this has got tempeh is organic. Well, I always try to buy organic, especially when it comes to soy products. I'm not scared of soy. I know a lot of people get scared off about soy. If you are eating it as part of a balanced diet, and not every day, but as part of a balanced diet, and if you're getting organic, whole, from good sources of soybeans, I say go for it. So this is organic soybeans. This is literally the ingredients. It has like 4 ingredients: soybeans, brown rice, barley, and millet. So this has soy and it has gluten. But you can also buy tons of different tempehs in the market that don't have gluten in them. They have black beans, and I think I've even seen chickpea. But you can also, if you're like, I don't want to do that, you can use lentils in this recipe. You could even use chopped up chickpeas. It would work as well. And then of course you could use tofu if you didn't want to use tempeh. But I want to show you, and I just usually slice it open like this. It looks discolored. Don't freak out and think your tempeh went bad. This is one of the things when doing a lot of cooking classes, I get asked a lot. So in case you're wondering the same thing, I'm gonna show you. This one actually looks pretty good, but there are dark spots. I don't know if you can zoom in. There are dark spots, that's I think from the brown rice, but it's also, you can kind of see it's a little bit more discolored over here. And it can be dark in spots, and that's okay. I just love it. I love the way it smells. It has a nutty texture. Oh, I also wanted to say, I've been dying to try, there is a product, and they're not paying me to say this, there's a product, I'm just gonna give this a zhuzh, called Pumfu, and it is tofu made out of pumpkin seeds. And that could also work in this recipe. If you didn't want to do soy at all, and you didn't want to do a bean, you should check that out. I haven't tried it yet. Spoiler alert, I'm going to be playing with that for an upcoming batch cooking club recipe just to see, how to use it. And this is just you guys doing its thing, getting all caramelized and soft. You want the veggies to be tender. So back to our tempeh. this is gonna get crumbled. Let me tell you some other ways you can use tempeh. Do you have any questions, by the way? I thought maybe I saw you signaling me.
I think you answered some of those, and I had some thumbs ups, and Stephanie just says, I want to try pumfu.
Oh, pumfu, that's exactly what that's what I was just saying, that pumfu, I don't know how you should say it. I'm excited to try it too. I just found some and I'm excited. So I'll keep you posted, Steffi. We'll come up with a recipe. And if you haven't checked out the Superfood Goddess, she's amazing. She has great resources over on her page on Instagram. Steffi, I don't know if you're the same on Facebook, but she's definitely on Instagram. She shares great resources. And I think she has an upcoming wellness retreat coming up at the end of the month. So check her out. Big shout out. We love her. She's one of our partners. Okay, so tempeh. You can do so many things with this. So we're going to crumble it like ground beef in this sauce. You could also just slice this. It's very thick. I'll show you. See how it stays together? You can slice this and marinate it like you would a chicken or beef product and bake it. Okay, and you can also make bacon out of this by marinating it in like a bacon marinade and slicing it. If I didn't cut it, that you could do long strips this way, then make bacon out of it. You can put that in sandwiches. You can make steaks by cutting it in slabs like this. When I say steaks, and marinating that way. So it's a really versatile protein that you can use. So this, I mentioned, we give you 4 dinners every week and every meal plan. So this week, you are making a batch, my members are making a batch of this, and they're using it to stuff those vegan bolognese and bruschetta stuffed peppers, which are so good. And then we also have our Italian stuffed calzones. We also have in our recipe, or in our plan this week, edamame wonton soup. And the last recipe is like my favorite new salad. It is a chipotle ranch kale salad with black bean and corn patties. And so those are the dinners. What you prep on the weekend are the corn, black bean and corn patties, the chipotle ranch dressing for that salad. So that salad comes together so quickly because you're gonna, during the week, because you're going to prep the dressing and the patties on the weekend. You're going to also make the tempeh bolognese, so those stuffed peppers and the calzones come together really easy because you're also making an Italian or vegan basil ricotta. And so those calzones come together really quickly because you're using store-bought pizza dough, unless you want to be extra and make your own pizza dough. And you have your bolognese already made and you already have your ricotta. And I think that's it, ricotta. Oh, and the wonton soup, that's the last recipe. You make the wonton soup on the weekend and then it's just reheating it during the week. So see, we take the thinking out of what to cook. We make it easy to show up for dinner at the end of a long day when you're tired and you're stressed and you're like, I just need to feed my family. We have it all planned for you. Just take no more than 2 hours. All of our prep, all those recipes I just told you never take more than 2 hours to make on the weekend. And we're always making sure that you're staying efficient. So while something's roasting, you're doing something simmering on the countertop, and while that's simmering, you're making your dressings or your spreads so that there's no idle time in this kitchen. No idle time. We don't have time to waste. We want to get in, we want to get out, we want to get it done, but we want to have fun. So speaking of fun, I'm going to add in our tempeh, and here, I can just take it off so we can show you for a second, and then I'll put it back on. We're going to just crumble it in. You can either chop it with your hands or you can just crumble it. I'm just gonna, let's see how I do. Yeah, I'm gonna just crumble it. My wedding ring might not like me very much, but.
Marcia would like to know, could the patties be used for burgers or sliders?
Oh, yes, Marcia, great question. So you saw how I sliced it. You can make different thicknesses with this. And I would say, a couple things actually, Marcia, I'm glad you asked that. So number one, you can marinate it, cut it in whatever shape you want, marinate it, and then this would stand up on a grill, easy, or you could bake them for burgers or sandwiches. But also if you try this and you're like, it's too bitter for you, some people complain that it has a bitter taste, you can steam it before you marinate it and work with it. I don't have a problem, it doesn't taste bitter to me, but if you steam it for 10 minutes, it'll take out any bitterness. So that's just a tip if you fall into that category. So great question. So, ooh, this smells good. So I am just crumbling this and we're gonna let it cook for about another 10-ish minutes, 8 minutes. to get a little bit caramelized with the vegetables. And you can see how quick, and this sauce is really easy and quick to make. As you can see, I'm chatting with you, so I'm taking my time, but it's really a quick sauce to make. And if you make a batch on the weekend, you can eat, and say you just wanted to pour it over spaghetti or penne. I give you a couple ways we're using it this week, but it also works just as a regular pasta sauce. You could also stuff it in shells. That is another great way to use this sauce. And it freezes super well. You could freeze this for 6 months in an airtight container, and it'll stay in your fridge for about a week. We always include storage information in each of our recipes, so you know how to prepare and store your food. We also always tell you what you're gonna need when you do your prep. The prep plan doesn't only give you the step-by-step order of what to cook, but it also tells you what storage ingredients you need. It also tells you what equipment you need to make it. So again, we try to do all the thinking for you. So and you got a grocery list. I didn't even tell you that. You got a grocery list, so you don't even have to do your grocery list. And I am always in all of our members. We do weekly. Oh, this smells so good, you guys. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This is really yum. So look at that. It's just like a ground beef, right? Or ground turkey, or however you would make a traditional bolognese. I'm just gonna let it kind of sit there for a little bit to caramelize. I'm all about support. I'm all about helping you succeed. If you can't tell, I am like the biggest cheerleader. Fun fact about me, I was a cheerleader in high school for 3 years. I did win Most Valuable Cheerleader. Claim to fame, I know. My kids make fun of me all the time that was actually a thing. But my point is, I am about cheering you on. I am about supporting you. So every week, our members in our private Facebook group, I'm in there all the time, but we do a weekly Q&A call. And that's your time, and even if you can't make it live, you can post questions and I'll get to them. That's your time to ask me anything about the recipes, about being plant-based, we have so many members who don't have vegan or vegetarian families and they just need some encouragement to stay on course, or how can they adapt this meal to also please their non-vegan family. I'm all about that. You can always DM me, private message me. I love that. It's my favorite part of what I do, is supporting you. I have 3 kids who are not vegan, a husband who's not vegan. I'm going on my 11th anniversary of being vegan next month. And so I've pretty much seen and heard and done it all and been through that and done that. So use me to your benefit to help you on your journey. So, all right, the other ingredients. Any questions before I keep talking about the recipe? How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good, okay. I have marinara sauce. You can use any old marinara sauce. Obviously, the quality of your ingredients you use, the better. This is my favorite, just jarred sauce from Trader Joe's. And then I have my diced tomatoes. My favorite are the San Marzano. If you can find those are my favorite canned tomatoes to use, and my favorite sauce, actually. It's a little expensive, so sometimes it's for a splurge. But when you're making a sauce, I say go for it. And then we're using balsamic vinegar. So you could also use wine if you wanted, but I'm just using balsamic vinegar. And that's it. That's all you need. We're gonna pour those last ingredients into the sauce once the tempeh gets a little caramelized. And we're gonna let it simmer for 10 minutes. The longer you let it simmer, the better. But all you need is about 10 minutes. And then it's ready to go. You can top it with some fresh basil when you're ready to serve, or any fresh herb. And that's it, you guys. That is all there is to this really easy sauce that you can use in so many different ways. I'm gonna give this one more little zhuzh. Do we have any questions while we're waiting for this tempeh to caramelize up?
Nope.
No questions? Okay, so let me tell you, I'll give you a sneak peek. If you're not a member and you're watching and you wanna learn more about us, head over to batchcookingclub.com. We have a free batch cooking planner, batchcookingclub.com/planner, that helps you organize your meals and your prep for the week. It is kind of the secret sauce to what I do here at Batch Cooking Club and what I teach my members every week. So I would say that's a great way to get to know us. When you sign up for that planner, you'll also get weekly emails from me, so we'll get to know each other better. And it's a great way to stay connected. You can also connect with us at Batch Cooking Club here on Facebook and Instagram. And then myself, I have my own personal page over at Vegmama, Vegmana, here on Facebook and on Instagram. And I share a more personal side of myself with my family and what I do personally and more specific meal prep tips and techniques and things. So I would love to connect with you. I invite you to join me over there. A couple fun things that give you a little sneak peek teaser, although I don't have a place to send you to, but I'm going to be doing a challenge the last week of this month. And if anybody is interested in either one, needing support or help to go plant-based, or two, just needing help to stick to a meal planning and prep routine. I know that January, I've been talking to a lot of people in my DMs who have big goals for meal planning and prep this year to make it easier to have more fun feeding their family. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, drop a comment down in the comments like me, or send me a DM or a PM, what is it, on Facebook, a private message, and I'll be happy. I'll add you to the list and I will share the link with you. I'm super excited. It's gonna be totally free the last week of this month for 4 days. We're gonna do a live challenge every day. I'm gonna have a quick thing for you to do. I'm gonna get you into a meal planning and prep routine, and that helps you incorporate plant-based foods into your diet. So hopefully you're as excited about that as I am. Clearly I'm very excited. I'm gonna stir in my tomatoes and my sauce. And this is ready. I don't know if you wanna come in and see. I don't know if you can really see because there's all the steaming, but the tempeh is kind of caramelized a little bit, golden a little. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of, let me see. It's like zero in there. A little bit golden. And I'm gonna pour in my tomatoes. And I just learned, everybody, a really important tip about recycling. If you did not know this, I attended an amazing experience this weekend. I had the pleasure of speaking at called Belief Retreat. You can follow them on Instagram. I think in Facebook too. Belief, like B, and then leaf, like L-E-A-F, not like believe, belief. Belief Retreat. And it was a conference all for adults and families, all about sustainability and plant-based living. And I attended a really cool workshop. Oh, I forgot my balsamic. Very cool workshop with Catherine Kellogg, who is Zero Waste Living on her social. And she shared some amazing tips. And I'm really excited to implement some of them in my household. I'm just gonna stir this up, you guys. You can see really here. But one of the things I learned, and I did not know this, and maybe you guys are ahead of me and more advanced and more with it than I am. And so I'm gonna make sure this is thoroughly combined, and then you can simmer it. And I think it's simmered covered. I would just honestly what I would do, and this is what you'll do as part of the prep plan, I would reduce the heat to a simmer and bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat, cover it and simmer it, and go about your business while you finish your prep. And the longer it sits there, the flavors will come together and it'll just be so good. Yum. I mean, look at this. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir over here, right? If I do say so, oh my God, it looks so good. And again, you guys, you can freeze this. Like, you can literally put this in the freezer and use it to stuff shells or put it in lasagna. You could do so many things. So what I learned from her, I digress, before you recycle these, they need to be dry and clean. So make sure you rinse this stuff out. I never did that. I don't know if people knew that, and I just was late to the party, but now I'm washing, not washing. She just said, give it a good rinse so there's not any food particles. Your lids too, like this is a no-no, and put it in your recycling. She also said, check with your local, I'm all about sustainability too, or I try to have a sustainable kitchen. I'm a long way from it, but I'm trying to incorporate more. That's one of my goals for 2021. She also said that check with your local city guidelines for recycling, because they don't all accept the same kinds of plastics. And so you could be, what I'm gonna do in my house, my family's thrilled about it, we're going to do a trash audit. So I'm going to put a clipboard next to my trash can for a week, and every time we throw something out, we're gonna log it, and then you do a tally mark if it's already on the list. And the idea is, by the end of the week, you're gonna see what you throw out the most. So for example, spoiler alert, paper towels, one of the big things on my list. I already have a plan to get rid of paper towels. Family is not super happy about it, but it's one of the biggest changes you can make to going zero waste and have a great impact. And if you're thinking, oh, but then you're spending water to wash the towels, it takes something like, I think she said like 30 gallons of water to make one roll of paper towels or something crazy. Don't quote me on the statistic, but it was like, there's no way I'm using that much water to wash my towels every week. So anyway, I'll get off my little soapbox. I was just so inspired at this conference this weekend, and since I have some cans here, I'm gonna make sure I rinse those out. All right, so that is simmering. I will put my lid on it when we finish here, but that is how easy this sauce is. I hope you will try it. I hope it will inspire you in many recipes. If you want to get in on those stuffed peppers and the calzones, you still can. Just go to batchcookingclub.com. We have 2 different membership options just for the plan that you can sign up for. It's an annual membership. We have a paid in full option or 12 monthly payments. It's up to you. So if you want those recipes, I invite you to go check that out. And I'm going to sign off unless we have any other questions. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Oh, one quick thing. Oh, no, we'll be back here. What's the date today? The 14th. So we will be back here on the 21st. Did I do the math right? Is it the 14th today? We're here every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can always check out our events in Facebook. We post it every week, and we also post the classes on our website, so you can always see past classes over there at batchcookingclub.com/classes. So happy to spend the last half hour with you, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next week.